today's lesson is going to be over learning target 2 for Unit 2, which states that I can solve equations by using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, so one of the big things about algebra is the ability to solve equations. And so, what is the meaning of solve? Now, a lot of kids have a differing opinion of this, but this is the true meaning. So, solving is to find the solution or solutions to an algebraic sentence that involves an equal sign and an unknown value. Okay, so it's basically like to solve is like you want to find the solutions to an equation. In an equation, you have an equal sign and you have a variable that you're looking for its solution or what it represents. Okay, so we want our answer to look like the following. So you have your variable will most likely have x, and that'll say equals, and then there'll be some number that'll be on the other side. Now also remember that we can write this in a different way because of the symmetric property. It doesn't matter the order of what it looks like in the end, just as long as x equals a number or a number equals x. Okay? So let's practice some of these. So the first one, we're going to solve some equations using the addition property of equality. So example 1 says t minus 4 equals 7. So here, because you have a minus 4, we want to undo that to get t by itself. Okay, so t is being subtracted by 4, so to undo that, we would want to use the addition property of equality, so you would add 4 to both sides. Okay, adding 4 makes negative 4 plus 4 equals 0, so then you're left with the value of t, and then doing so gets you 7 plus 4 on the other side, which those are both like terms, so I can add them together to give me 11. And that is my final answer because it fits the look that we're talking about up here. Okay. Example 2, very similar, except on the other side. So here it says 20 equals negative 6 plus p. Okay. Now this one, because it's oriented differently, doesn't mean it's done any differently. We still want to get p by itself. And our 6 is negative. Now, negative 6 plus p is the same thing as p minus 6. It's just written backwards. P is still positive, so that's why it has a plus sign. 6 is negative because it has the negative sign, so you can switch it around. Remember, minus and negative are the same. So here, if I am taking it's negative 6 plus p, I can add 6 to both sides to undo it. So notice every time for these, whatever the number is doing to the variable, I undo it with the opposite operation. Okay, so if it's subtraction, I'm going to use addition. So then that leaves me with p on the right, and then 20 plus 6 gives me 26. That's my answer. Okay. Moving on. Now we want to be able to use the subtraction property of equality. So, hint, probably I'm going to be undoing addition so that I can use subtraction. So here it says y plus 11 equals 9. And so because 11 is being added to y, I want to get y by itself. So I'm going to undo that by subtraction. So the opposite addition, subtraction, subtract 11 on both sides. 11 minus 11 is 0, so it goes away. That leaves you with y. And then 9 minus 11 gives me negative 2. Okay? Same thing on the other side. Even though the 8 is in front of the n, still works the same way. 8 is positive, so it's almost like there's a plus sign in the front. So I can subtract 8 to both sides. Here, the plus for the n just means that n is positive. So when 8 minus 8 gives you 0, it just leaves you with a positive n. You don't need to write the plus sign there. It's unnecessary since there's nothing in front of it. And so then now, negative 2 minus 8 gives you negative 10. And that's my answer. Okay? Okay, continuing on. You want to solve using the multiplication property of equality. So think about what's the opposite of multiplication. It's got to be division, right? So here you have problems where you're dividing by a number. So you want to use the multiplication of that same number to get it to the other side. So here I have m divided by 5 on the right and negative 12 on the left. So if it's division of 5, multiplication is the opposite. Now take notice of where I put the 5. I don't set it right next to each other. I set it at the same level as the m, because if I put it down with the 5, then it's really like multiplying across, and it looks very deceiving. Because I want to be able to do like 5 over 1, because if you think about what m over 5 is, if you separate those two fractions into multiplication, you would have m over 1 times 1 times over 5. Okay? So really, we're undoing this fraction of 1/5. So I'm using the reciprocal. Okay? To help me undo it. So the reciprocal 1/5 is 5. So then now multiplying, I get negative 60 on the left, 5m over m on the right. Those 5's cancel each other out because 5 divided by 5 is 1. And that gets me negative 60 equals m. Okay, same thing on the other side. Now, even though there's a negative in front of the x divided by 7, that's part of your reciprocal. So separating it out, it would be like x over 1 times 1 over negative 7. So when I multiply both sides by a number, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 7. And then that gets me negative 7x over negative 7. And then negative 2 times negative 7 gets me positive 14. Remember, double negatives make a positive, so negative 7 divided by negative 7 gives me 1. So I'm left with x over 14. Okay? Now, flip side, I want to use division property of equality. So notice that their values are being multiplied to your variables. Okay? So if I have 3 and multiplied to t, I undo that by division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So 3 divided by 3 leaves you with t. Negative 5 divided by 3 leaves you with negative 5. And that's my answer. Okay. Example 2 says negative 6 times r equals negative 36. Then here I want to divide both sides by what's multiplied to r, which is negative 6. So r equals 6. And that would be my answer. Okay. I'm going to stop here, and then I will make a second video or part 2 for the rest of learning target 2. Okay? Have fun.